QR code at the top right to download them.
Is there a pip install?
I don't think there is for RenP. RenP is more of a software that uses Python rather than a Python library.
Okay.
So I would install it from the thing and then use the installer to continue. But we've got 4 or 5 minutes if you want to go ahead and get that done. Hey everybody, I'm Joy Pinkard. I'm a senior software engineer at Aerojet Rocketdyne. And while I'm there, I primarily do work on their digital factory, which is mostly building applications for their manufacturing operations, right? Super fun stuff. I love it. Aerojet's a really cool place to be. But today, I'm going to teach you guys about RenPy. So, RenPy, as Pat said, it's a tool for creating visual novels and other interactive stories. But it's a little more than that to me. You can game with RenPy really easily and with no prior coding knowledge. I personally think that RenPy is the best way to build your first Python app, especially if code is a little scary for you. And the reason I say that is because it was my first introduction to coding when I was 14 years old. The first game I made was with RenPy. I made a point-and-click game with some visual novel elements, and it really accelerated me into 2D and then 3D game development, and then really into computer science. And frankly, I think it's an excellent and fun storytelling tool. We're going to start the talk by having me show you guys a very simple microcosmic visual novel, just the absolute smallest thing you could make, and then we're actually going to replicate it over the next 30 minutes as I teach you guys more about this tool, what it is, and how to use it. Sound good? All right. Well, if anybody has any questions during the talk, just go ahead and let me know. I want this to be pretty conversational. I do want to mention, after this talk, you guys should go check out some of these cool resources, particularly, obviously, RenPy, which you do have to download. It's a piece of software, it's not just a library. You're going to need an art program. I use FireAlpaca, which is a free, ancient tool. Don't use FireAlpaca, be better than me. Use Paint, use anything else. You can use opengameart.com or .org to find a lot of really nice free sounds and free art. In fact, we're going to use it today to get some music for our game. You can use Visual Code for your code editor. That's what we're going to be using today. I use Audacity for all of my audio editing. And RenPy has some of the greatest documentation. It has a ton of code snippets that you can use in your own works. And one of those locations is called the RenPy Cookbook. In addition to their standard documentation, the cookbook has just a lot of nice little code blocks that you can use. Yes?
Just for me, because I'm sitting here and you said Visual Code, I really like them. I am assuming what you mean there is Visual Studio Code.
Yes.
Thank you so much. If I can type that in instead of Visual Studio, and I can separate Visual Studio.
Well, if you just go to your terminal right here and you type code dot, it's going to open up Visual Code, right? So just start calling it code, and you just get it even smaller. All right, so let me go ahead and show you guys. I've whipped up a super tiny game. I just called it Huntsville Pie, and let's take a look at what our game is going to look like. All right, so yes, I can. We are in a library. All right, that's a little better. So you can see I've customized the font here. We've got our own little main menu. We're keeping it unambitious. We're gonna make this in 30 minutes, right? So you can see that with RenPy, you can input text. You can show characters on the screen with scrolling text, sound effects, music, and names. You can have additional characters and position them wherever you want on the screen. You'll notice that they're also animated. You can have variables that store information like strings or numbers, just like you would in normal Python. And you can iterate on them with logic, so you can change the values of your variables with logic. Again, similar to Python, but you're going to see that the scripting for RenPy is a little different. So we have 2 choices we can make here. We can ask for 100 points or for no points. What do we want to do?
100.
100! Yeah. You now have 104 points, so we're counting up our points, right? You got so many points. So now we get the good ending. He's in heaven, right? And you get the credits. So we could have done the bad ending, no points, so you didn't get any points, right? And this is the bad ending. Oh no. So you can make a choose choose your own adventure game, you can make a point-and-click game, you could make something similar to the old Freddy Fish games or things like that. You're not limited to visual novels. You're limited to whatever you can do with clicking and showing 2D images. You can do a lot of really cool stuff with this, particularly, again, interactive novels and storytelling. Super cool. So we're going to go ahead and go through this today. And I have a little script here that we're going to follow. This is kind of a procedure for making a Ren'Py game. We're going to start by opening the Ren'Py software and creating a new project. All right, guys, what are we going to call it?
Huntsville Pie.
Huntsville Pie. I like it. But we're going to spell it wrong. Huntsville Pie. Pick a color. These are going to be the colors that are used for our game. Ren'Py has what now? Oh, it's got to be blue. I like this shade of blue. Blue's a good color. Ren'Py handles a lot of stuff for us. It handles saving your game, showing the history of your text logs, displaying images, some transitions like shaking the screen or moving characters around. Those are things you don't think about, but the time to develop those on your own could add up. And Huntsville handles it. So let's go ahead and launch. We can see with Huntsville Pie, we have our directory, we can add some files within it, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of actions here. I don't want you guys to get too overwhelmed with that, so we're gonna go ahead and just launch the project and see what happens. We haven't done any editing to it. This is what Ren'Py gives us right out of the box. You can see that we can adjust our preferences, like our text speed, whether we're full screen, your standard game settings. We can check the about page, which you could edit with your own information. And then if you start the game, you have just nothing here, right? You can tell that it couldn't find the background image, it just says empty room, the character's not present, the text is all the default text that it starts you with. See, once you add story pictures, you can release it to the world. So we're gonna start by making a character. We're gonna start by making a character, and I have actually gone ahead and created a base for that is the correct image size. And it likes an image size that is, I think 900 by 1000. So we're gonna go ahead and draw over this. What should our main character be? It can be anything. It can be a pencil, it can be an apple. What are we thinking? Madison?
A rocket.
A rocket? We can do both. We'll have one that's Madison and one that's a rocket. All right. Oh gosh, I gotta draw a rocket, guys. That's
A rocket is just like a pencil.
That's true. Choo! It's got a little.
You should put a smiley face on it, like that one picture of a rat.
So as you can see, art's really easy, and you can do it all by yourself. So it's gotta have the boosters. It's gotta have it's always got like the little nose cone at the top. And now we gotta color it, and blue's the best color, so we're gonna make it blue, right? Let's go down here. It's a blue rocket. And then we're gonna make it gray. And then we're gonna make it white here. And this is pretty good, and I'm gonna name this. So first of all, we're gonna go to my Ren'Py projects. Ooh, and I couldn't find where the location of that folder was. So I'm gonna go to my Ren'Py launcher and I'm gonna say open the images directory. And that's where we're gonna wanna save that file, right? So I'm gonna save it right here. And I'm gonna save it as rocket, it's all underscores, Ren'Py likes underscores, rocket happy.png. So the reason for that is that rocket is the name of our character, happy is the name of the emotion we're showing for it. It'll all make sense soon. So now that we have a character, we want to show it on our screen, and we're going to go to the main driver of your Ren'Py game, which is going to be your script.py, So I'm going to open that up. It's going to automatically open in Visual Code, and just for convenience, I'm going to go ahead and open the entire game folder as a directory, so workspace, so I can edit it as we go. I trust the authors, and we are going to, yes.
Can you bump up the font size a bit?
Absolutely, I can.
Turn the volume and the music down a little bit.
Oh my goodness, you're so right. You're so right. It's not great sounds. It is copyright-free music. So thank you for calling that out. All right, so we've got our image right here, and we are going to go into our script.py. We'll see that we're defining a character Eileen, but I want to define things a little differently. I'm going to go ahead and open my other script I had just for reference. Open. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a character with this code. So, we're creating a character with the image, with the name Rocket. Its image is gonna start with the word rocket, right? And its name is also going to be Rocket. Now, I'm noticing that it doesn't seem to be using my RenPy extension, which colors my scripts, but that's okay. We can work with what we have. So I'm gonna say show Rocket happy instead of show Eileen happy, which is the default character. Let's launch the project and see what happens. Line 5, text speed is not defined, that's fine. We're gonna just go with 50. That's pretty good text speed. All right, so we define our character. Start the game. Ooh. E is not defined. That is because E is the speaker that we overwrote. We want to make the Rocket character say our words. So, let's do that instead. We are gonna go, if I can find the thing, where'd it go? Okay, script.py. I got too many windows open, guys. Okay, we're gonna say, Rocket, you've created a new RenPy game, and instead of that, we're gonna make him say, come on down to the downtown library, and then he's going to say, we're having a great Python conversation. Okay, and then we're gonna run the game, and this time it's gonna work. Alright, so you can see we've already got the very, very basics of our little game in here, right? We got our little rocket is happy. But our rocket might be sad because maybe more of their friends aren't using Python as they should. Maybe some of them are using other languages. So, so we're gonna make him sad, all right? Gonna make him sad. You guys didn't know this was gonna be Bob Ross when you came in, but you know it now. So we're gonna make a sad rocket, and we're going to color that and save it as Rocket sad. I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to define and use different emotions, different sprites for your characters. So we're going to have him say something new. He's going to say, show Rocket sad. So this shows the character Rocket with the tag sad, right? So it's going to look for rocket space sad.png. And then he's going to say, I wish more of my buddies used the awesome Python programming language, ... And now let's go ahead and run it.
Are you calling out your emotional support?
Yeah.
Bold choice.
I wish more of my buddies used the awesome Python programming language. So you can really get some emotional range in here with those different sprites that you can have. So the next step we are going to take is, let's add a background. All right, so next is the question, where is the rocket? Where is the rocket? Anybody got a location for me?
This room that we're in right now.
This room we're in right now, you got it. Pachoo-choo. I'm Bob Rossing it up. Bob Rossing it up. I'm gonna make a beautiful home. Gonna make a home. So this is the room from my perspective, because I'm looking at it from right over here. So here's the door. Bam, bam. Oh, it's got like an American flag over there. We gotta have like stripes. Patriotic, and then we got the stars. Okay. And then another thing in this room is lots of smiling Python developers. And then one sad C++ developer.
That's a lie. Every C++ developer is sad.
I
That's
know.
so true.
That's because I have to use CMake. And I just point and laugh. All right, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to save it into images, and we're going to save it similarly to how we did our rocket. Our tag is going to be BG, and our second tag, I don't know the terminology for these things, but it's going to be our library. We're gonna save it as a PNG, okay? And so then we're gonna go back to our script, and it's gonna be as simple as BG library. Let's play the game. Oh, look at that. Come on down to the downtown library. We're having a great Python conversation. I wish more of my buddies used the awesome Python language. So I think that that's a pretty good game so far, but it needs some music. So we're gonna go to opengameart.org. This site is really good for finding assets for games you're making, especially if they're in development and you plan on replacing those assets later, or if you're making a quick thing for a game jam. So we're gonna look up library music. Oh no, that's okay. Instead, we're going to use existing open source music from my computer. It'll be just as beautiful, guys. It'll be just as beautiful. Okay, so we are going to go to right here, and we're just gonna actually copy the entire audio folder over into the HSV Pi game. We're gonna copy it into the audio folder. Again, RenPy organizes everything for you. It creates that entire structure. It handles playing all of your audio. It handles a lot of things for you. It's really nice. Now, I do want to point one thing out. It's just a little tip. As I go through opengameart.org, I like to keep a text file with all of my copyright, the link, the author, what type of Creative Commons license it uses so that I can credit it properly later. So I recommend doing that as well. And so we have some audio right here. Let's go ahead and play the happy theme in the game. So let's do that. And I'm just gonna steal this line right here. So all we're gonna do is say, play music happy theme. And then we're going to see that it's gonna start playing that really annoying open source tune. We'll turn that right back off.
It's playing twice.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Well,
because the other one's still open.
Oh, we got a couple of these open, guys. Let's just close all those. Whew. All right, we're getting them out of the way. But we're really coming along with our little game here. So next, I think that what we should do, it's kind of weird that the rocket is just there on the screen, right? That's not how rockets work. Rockets fly. So we're gonna say, instead of show rocket happy, we're gonna say show rocket happy with move in right. Move in right is a built-in RenPy transition, and that's actually going to cause the rocket to, instead of just being on the screen, he's going to move in from the right. He zooms in, right? And so I think that he should also move out left. So we're gonna say hide rocket with move, I believe it's move out right. If it's not, that's okay. We'll just close it and do something different. That's what coding's all about. Because I don't have the internet to check. Oh, yeah, that worked. Okay, great. But we'll say left so that he moves out from the right direction. So that is transitions. RenPy handles all of those for you. It's really cool. You can make characters appear, disappear, however you want them to with your sweet animations. It's really fun. You can also have more than one character. I think we'll show that if we have a little extra time, but let's keep things moving. So next, yes, what's up?
So if you go back to the script,
Yes.
and if you have two same rows, the rock is showing up from the right.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two statements back to back, then what happens?
Do you want to try it?
Yeah.
So like this? Yeah, let's go for it. Nothing happened. So RenPy handles that pretty well. If the rocket's already there, it's not going to show the inside transition again. I'm no RenPy expert, so I'm not the best at creating my own animations. But the best thing about RenPy is that you don't have to be to make something that's kind of cool.
So what about rocket sad?
Rocket sad? If we had that
No,
point?
I mean the show rocket sad. So there are two show rocket happy, right?
Yeah.
And so replace the happy by sad for a second.
Yeah, okay. It might. Let's see what that does actually. I'm curious too. Because I'm not positive about that. Oh. So it looks like the way that it handled it is that it did this entire transition, then it showed the rocket sad, but decided it couldn't do move in right because it was already in the scene. So I think that was how it decided to handle that. And thank you for your question. That was a really good one. All right, let's go ahead and do some variables. All right, so we know that our rocket is going to go super, super high into the air. Let's ask him how many friends he has that use Python, actually. I think that'd be a pretty good question for him. So we're gonna do, we've got this little menu script that I'm just gonna copy in, and I will walk you guys right through it. So you can see we have points as our variable. We've set it to 4. We're gonna call that Python buddies, and we're gonna say that it's currently 0. And we're gonna have the rocket say, I have blank Python buddies, right? And then the rocket is going to say, how many more will show up today at the library? And we're gonna say 1,000,000. Heck yeah. And 100,000. And then we're gonna say points plus equals, we'll just say 1,000 actually. That's a little easier. Okay,
And you
so,
have to have the rocket say that's, you have enough points.
yeah, we can.
I used to get an apple.
I still have Apple, oh, thank you. See, this is why this is called pair programming, but it's more like pack programming. I've got a pack of you watching these, I go, right? That's pretty helpful stuff. Okay, so we can either do 1,000,000 Python buddies or 1,000 Python buddies. And next, I'm gonna show something that some of you are definitely familiar with, which is labels. So labels are part of our control logic in RenPy, and they give us the power to have different sections of our code. So for instance, we can go right down here, we can say if, oh, and in fact I need to rename these points to Python buddies everywhere, right? I can say if Python buddies is greater than 1,000, jump to the good ending. And otherwise, you got the bad ending, right? So, we can go ahead and try that out. Let me go ahead and make it to our rocket saying that. So, labels allow you to have chunks of your story that you can jump between. So for instance, like I just said, if you got 1,000 or more Python buddies, that's a good ending, that's a good thing. Otherwise, jump to the bad ending. It'll run this entire block of code, and then I told it to jump to the credits. I think if I didn't have this here, it would just run right into the next label. I haven't tested that a ton. And so yeah, what this will do, it'll show either the good ending or the bad ending, and then it will jump to the credits. We don't have the bad ending and good ending pictures, so I'll go ahead and pull those in from the other game. And all right. And then we should be able to run it and see what happens. Let's go ahead and play the game. Come on down to the library, we're having a great conversation. I wish more of my buddies used the language. All right, so now we actually have player input where the player can provide those values. So does he have 1,000,000 Python buddies or 1,000 Python buddies? What are we thinking?
I like 1,000,000.
I like 1,000,000. He's got 1,000,000 Python buddies. You have 1,000,000 Python buddies. So you got the good ending. So RenPy really allows you to customize pretty well. It allows you to, I mean, I've made RenPy games with this system that have a lot of branching paths, right? If you've ever read those Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid, you could rebuild that entire thing in RenPy, and I actually have done that when I was a youngster. But there's a lot of really cool things you can do with this. I would show you, but we're running a little short on time. But as you saw with our Apple game, you can customize the entire UI to look however you want. You can see that we scaled the characters a little bit more. So if you're interested in that, again, RenPy has some wonderful tutorials on their website. And you can also feel free to go to the GitHub I provided earlier and check out those examples. Thank you guys so much for your time. Does anybody have questions? Yes.
So if you wanted to do more in-depth scripting, anything, something outside their built-in declarative language, how would you go about that?
That is a great question. I wish we had gotten I'm trying to see it today, I
I mean,
can't.
even if you just show an example of.
Literally right here. So you can see that there is a Python keyword that you can use to write Python code wherever you want in the script, right? And that's what gives it power. In fact, let me show you something. So the tutorial for RenPy is actually a fully interactive game, and you can see, and it has really great graphics. You can see where you can actually create mini games, right? So for instance, you can get complicated enough to create Pong within RenPy. So you can do whatever you can do in Python, you can do in RenPy. It's just that people don't typically choose to do that. They use it for pretty simple control logic and other things. And we have to let it loose. But the tutorial is really, really helpful because you can go right into the code for the tutorial, rip it out, and use it in your game. Like they even have the Pong code if you wanted to make Pong Hero 2. So, yeah. Any other cool questions about RenPy? I know y'all, yes.
I like the attribute projects with a lot of different control flow and stuff like that.
You can have multiple scripts, and they all just, you can reference each other, just like you would a normal Python code. But your label start is where the game always starts out at. So it's kind of your main script.
Can I retrieve any logging of the game being linked?
Excuse me?
Can I retrieve any logs of the game?
Yes, you can. So you can actually, there's a couple of development tools within RenPy. I'll go ahead and show the logs off first. So there's log.txt right within the beginning. And additionally, you have in the tutorial, there is an example of the developer tools. There. We've got developer tools. I don't remember exactly where they are, but you can do things like run code in the console right here, like as your game is running, right? And you can open your developer menu, look at your variables, figure out what all your things are. You got debugging tools built right into it. It's pretty cool. I like RenPy, it's cute. You can have a fun weekend just making a little visual novel for all your friends. That's what I like to do. Oh, and it's super easy to host this thing, y'all. Oh my gosh, wait. I gotta show you that. I know I've got 1 minute, I'm sorry, Pat.
It's okay.
But like, look at this. Alright, well, check out that build distributions. So like, one of the coolest things about RenPy is that, in my personal opinion, what makes it really Pythonic is how fun and easy it is to use. Because if you want to put this thing on your phone, if you want to put it on somebody's computer, if you want to put it on a browser, RenPy has done all that work for you. You click those build distributions, you host your thing, and you're basically done. It gives you great examples of all of it. So that's why there are so many visual novels hosted online. It's because tools like RenPy make it so easy to publish them, right? Another interesting thing that it has a built-in script linter, which is important since RenPy has its own syntax. So if you're not familiar, a linter just runs through all your code and makes sure that there's no syntactical errors or things that would prevent it from running. If you're not using one, use one. They are delightful. But the built-in tools in RenPy are just absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion. I think that if you have somebody in your life who wants to get into game dev but is intimidated by coding, but wants to get into coding, I would highly recommend RenPy as a place to start. And tell them to just use their mouse and draw little rockets in paint. They can, they can make some beautiful art like that. It gets it going. We got any more questions? I do want, okay, let me show you one more thing while I'm thinking on it, which is cool. So if you go into the folder, and you go into the Huntsville Pi folder, and you go into images, and you go into GUI, you can overwrite all the default images that the game uses for the user interface. So again, it's that easy. You just write right over them, and in RenPy, over here, in the screen script, that's where all the UI stuff is held. So it's all open. You can edit the way the game looks 100%. But I think that's everything I've got for you guys, unless we have any more questions or concerns. Thanks everybody, appreciate you.